Hi Soul Risers, welcome back. Today I'll be talking to you about the humanistic approach to psychology. What is it and what are the key elements of the humanistic approach? For those of you who are already in the field of psychology, you're probably familiar with this concept. But for those who are brand new and aren't aware of this field as much, it's still very interesting because it shows you it's more connected to sort of existential psychology and phenomenology. So if you're aware of philosophers like Kierkegaard, psychologists like Biswanger and Boss, Rollo May, Viktor Frankl, all of these are people who pioneered in the area of existential philosophy, existential psychology. But for the sake of this video, I'm going to keep it simple and effective. So firstly, I want to share that when psychology as a field began, it started off by Sigmund Freud's classical psychoanalytic movement, which was basically the unconscious parts of you sort of define you. So this was in the mid 20th century. The views of human nature were defined by the psychoanalytic movement within the field of psychology, and then by the behaviorists, which said that human beings are the way they are because of environmental conditioning. So what happened was we had these two views. One was about your unconscious motivating your behavior. So the most unconscious prominent impulses or drives were sex and aggression, and these were sort of the main things that controlled human behavior. And so back in the mid 20th century, this was the predominant view of human beings, of human nature. And so the behaviorists, on the other hand, were the other extreme, and they said that it is the environment. Like, bring me a human being and I can train the person as a rat. And so there was always the two ends of the spectrum in terms of understanding human beings. And what this caused was a type of frustration and amongst people who felt that humans themselves have some level of control over their lives, and that is what led to the emergence of the humanistic approach. It's also known as existential psychology or phenomenological psychology. It's a little bit of a tongue twister, but very interesting to pronounce. So the main point of the humanistic approach is they say that human beings are largely responsible for the actions of the actions they consciously take. And so here the individual is stepping out of the box of being the victim of his unconscious impulses or environmental triggers, and now the focus is on the person themselves towards creating the life they want and desire. And so that was a very appealing concept, especially after the World War, where people were like contending the fact how destruction was became the predominant human factor, and what was the purpose of life and what is free will, and they started contending about concepts like that. And humanistic perspective, humanistic psychology is rife with these concepts. So self-esteem, self-concept, free will, the power of the individual to define their lives, to create their lives. That's sort of the emphasis, to make the conscious choices that lead you to certain paths in your own journey of life. And so the four key elements of the humanistic approach, number one, are personal responsibility, okay? And I'm gonna make another video more explicit on this, but this video is just sort of focusing on those four elements. So in the humanistic approach, a lot of emphasis is given on the fact that human beings are personally responsible for their own lives. They are the creator of their lives. The second emphasis, the second element of this approach is the focus on the here and now. So a lot of us, we live in the past or the future, and we let the past or the future define how we feel currently. However, the humanistic approach encourages people to see that let the past be your guide and maybe even shape you into who you are today, but don't let it be the anchor. So don't ever allow the past to be the anchor, so something that pulls you down and doesn't allow you to be what you could be today. Today you could restart. Today you could be a brand new person. It's your choice. It's your conscious decision. Your past does not have to pull you down. It could be a guide, it could be the influencer, but certainly not the anchor. Today, right now, this moment is your anchor. And so the humanistic psychologists, they encourage individuals to move towards being present in the here and now. Eckhart Tolle, his book The Power of Now, is a very famous book that touched the hearts of millions of people. And so the third element of the humanistic approach is the individual's experience. So the experience of the individual, and that matters most of all. So nobody knows you and yourself better than you do, right? And so the humanistic approach puts a lot of emphasis on you as an individual, knowing your experience firsthand. And so it's important to believe in yourself, to know that no matter what other people think is right for you, you know at the end of the day what is right or wrong for you. You are the best person and best judge of that. And that takes us to the fourth and last element of the humanistic approach, which is the idea of personal growth. So the humanistic psychologists believe that human beings inherently have this drive towards growing, towards progressing in life. And so one of the most important elements of psychotherapy in the humanistic school of thought is growing towards a person's growth, his higher goals in life, and trying to sculpt the patient's thoughts, emotions, and feelings into that direction, so the person can move towards that higher sense of self that they have for themselves. And so to sum it up, there were two original schools of thought. They were the psychoanalytic school and the behaviorist, so the learning and cognitive behavioral therapy type of thinking. And they believed in two opposite parts of the spectrum. One was all about the unconscious mind controlling us. The other was all about external world controlling us. However, the individual in between was forgotten. And so the humanistic psychologists came in and said, no, it's important we consider the individual's decisions in life as well, and give that individual the importance and the essence of being human. And so the essence of the humanistic approach is to realize that we are largely responsible for the actions we take in our lives, and the four important elements are personal responsibility, living in the here and now, emphasis towards personal growth, and last but not the least, it is the experience of the individual. So how you feel and experience the world firsthand from your lens as a person in your own life journey. So we'll have much more videos on in this school of thought, because it's a very interesting school of thought. So stay tuned and subscribe to my channel for more information. Thank you, Soul Risers. See you soon.